Hello everyone, Lawrence Fleming here. Get comfortable here. The benches here are made out of concrete as opposed to wood, so they're a little bit harder to sit on. I'm going to have to get me one of my stadium seats out of storage if I come back here. I'm only here for a couple more days, and then I'm back to another location that I've been to. Trying to find a place where I can stay is challenging. I haven't had to sleep in my car, so I'm able to find a place. God helps me in that, but I never know exactly where I'm going to be because I'm not booking out more than a couple of weeks. Anyhow, I went to the market today. Oh my God. I hadn't been in a couple of weeks, and just in 2 weeks I can see the price increases. The economists are saying we are in a recession, even though our fearless leader says no. They won't admit to it, because if they admit to it, they got to admit that maybe it's their fault. Anyhow, it's going the way they want, not the way we want. It's going the way that they want. That's why I'm telling you to make sure that you have enough food stores to get through this. Think about where you're going. It used to be we just, I'm going to go go for a drive just to get away and clear my head. Well, that's getting to be too expensive, so I go to a different campsite and I go for a walk. It's cheaper. Better miles to the gallon. We're going to see that the deceivers are going to be increasing. We've already seen a lot. We're going to be tempted by Satan a lot. He's going to come after us within the realms of what God allows him to do. So if we drop our guard, he'll be right there. And Satan was tempted. Satan came down. Satan was tempted. Jesus was tempted. I wish Satan was tempted to be good, but he's not. Jesus was tempted because he came down here as a man to show us that we could do it. He didn't use his special gifts for himself, only to help others. And so I want to look at the temptation of Jesus, the very beginning of Matthew. Turn to Matthew 4, verse 1. And Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, afterwards he was hungry. No kidding. Now when the tempter came to him, that's Satan's best trait, to tempt. He said, if you are the Son of God, command these stones to become bread. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. So we need to read. And that's he's quoting Deuteronomy 8:3. Let's see this. Okay, talking to the people about God. So he humbled you, allowed you to hunger, and then fed you with manna, which you did not know, nor your fathers know, that he might make you know that man shall not live by bread alone. That man lives by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. So he was quoting directly out of Deuteronomy. He's going to do that again a couple more times. And the devil took him up into the holy city and set him on a pinnacle of the temple. You get up on top of the temple and look out. That's cool. And said to him, if you're the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, he shall give you angels in charge over you, and in their hands I shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against the stone. That's in Psalms 91:11, I think. I didn't mark that one. There was too many places to mark. But I didn't really feel like marking Satan's quoting. So Satan's quoting the scripture. He knows it too. Jesus said to him, "It's written, you shall not tempt the Lord your God." Yes, God can come down and rescue you. He can send angels to catch you. He can do all this. But if you do it deliberately to tempt him, he may not catch you. Or at least he may tell them to slow you down a little bit, but let you hit, teach you a lesson. And that's coming also out of Deuteronomy 6:16. You shall not tempt the Lord your God as you tempted him in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, his testimonies and his statutes, which he has commanded you. There's a scripture for the challenges from Satan. Now, Satan may use the scriptures too, so if someone knocks at your door and they know the scriptures, unless you're well prepared, don't debate him, you're going to lose. Again, the devil took him up an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory, and he said to him, "All these things I will give you if you will fall down and worship me." That's what Satan wants. And Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve." And the devil left. You can command Satan to leave, but you've got to be in good standing with God to do that. And that comes from Deuteronomy 6:13. You shall fear the Lord your God and serve him. You shall take oaths in his name. You shall not go after other gods, the gods of the people who are around you. For the Lord your God is a jealous God among you. Lest the anger of the Lord of your God be aroused against him and destroy you from the face of the earth. We need to stay in the Word as much as we can. Now, it's good to know the Old Testament, but a lot of the New Testament is referencing the Old Testament. So if you've got footnotes that you can look at, and it will tell you what scripture verse it is, you can go back and look, but for the most part, they're quoting what's in the Old Testament. So you can go back and verify that it's there, but the New Testament basically is, like Jesus said, I didn't come to do away with the law, but to fulfill it. And the more you know of this, the more you can combat Satan, who will come after you. It's going to start getting tough here soon. He's getting anxious too, and he may feel like a little warm-up on his punishment. You know, if you're a gun owner, you go to the range and you practice. Well, Satan's going to start practicing for his reign coming up. Things are going to get tougher. We will eventually get out of here, but I don't know when, and you don't know when. So toughen yourself up and have the word or the sword of God with you. You can use it with other people when they're asking questions, and you can use it to tell Satan to get out of your life. And at that moment, if you're good with God, he has to. Because you've got Big Brother standing here, Big Father, however you want to look at that, standing right behind you. But if you wander off, because you've gotten away from the Lord, and you try to do that with Satan, he'll lash out at you, and you will quickly regret it. It's not God's fault, it's your fault. As we go through these times, continue to pray that you are protected from the evil that's in the world, protected from the things that are going to happen, that are going to be very painful to this world. Like I said, we're in a recession. It's getting very expensive to live, but it's not done yet. I don't know at what point It's going to be a day's wage for a loaf of bread, a jar of wheat or barley, the equivalent of a loaf of bread. In other words, you have to work all day just so you can eat for that day. It's coming. But is that before or after the rapture? I don't know. Be prepared. Know that things don't keep. If you buy 10 loaves of bread and you can only eat 5 in the time that you've got, the other 5 are going to mold unless you keep them in the freezer. Some of the things that you do when you go ahead and stock up your freezer are great, but what if the power is turned off? They can take our power grid down pretty easy. We've seen where it goes down naturally. We get a big storm and it knocks down some trees. You may be without power for a few days until they can restore all that. And that's just natural. What if you were without power for a month? Could you keep your freezer going? Could you keep your refrigerator going? Most household appliances have a surge current that is necessary. These compressors, they don't take a lot to run electricity-wise once they're going, but to start them up takes a big surge of power. Batteries won't do it. They make portable units for RVs and boats and things like that are running off of batteries now, that there's a capacitor system that charges up and stores up that boost that it needs to get it going. It still has the same physical problems. That compressor still needs a lot of current, but it stores it up in a capacitor until it's needed. I'm not saying go out and buy all these things. I'm just saying be aware that your own won't handle it. A generator will drive it, but you're going to need fuel. The generator may get you by a few days, but what if you can't find fuel? If there's no power, they can't pump the gas out of the tanks in the ground. Don't go start filling up plastic bags full of gasoline and storing them around your house. I've seen pictures of people doing that. No, that's more dangerous. But some of the rich people will be fine because they go and put a tank in the ground that they have gas delivered to, and they will go for a while. But then where do you go? If the power's out everywhere, businesses will be closed, entertainment places will be closed. You may or may not even have TV. Now, if you have a newer TV that doesn't take much power, you may be able to run that off of a battery. They have battery backups for computers. You can keep those running, but they're limited unless you have lots of money to buy big ones. You know, most of the ones cost a couple $100, but if you have to have a long-term one, they could be $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000. Most people can't afford that. Solar power works good. For my camping, I have a small, Jackery is the brand name, battery unit that I carry around. It's not very big. I'm only trying to power my phone and other devices, my earbuds and things like that. And I can charge it up in full sun in a day. All right, one of those messages was telling me I was running out of disk space on my phone, so I'm going to wrap up here and say goodbye. Hope you still have a good week coming up. We got a lot to keep an eye on. Don't bury your head in the sand. It's not going to make it better. Get out, do some basic prepping. Be sure that you're talking every day to somebody. One thing that I did want to mention is that a while back I did a evaluation of myself. I sat down and did a timeline of how much time I spend working for God and how much time I'm doing other things, whether that's watching TV, sports events, even just swimming in a lake or fishing or whatever. I was conservative with it. And I spend about 20% of my time a day with God, and that's not enough. Now, I don't mean that I don't take him with me every time I go somewhere, but I'm not working. If we're fishing, and we're not fishing for men, we're fishing for fish. Now, that doesn't mean we have to work 24/7 for him, but I have a ministry here, and I still only had 20%. That's not good enough. Now, yeah, I mean, I talk to him all the time, and I'm praying all the time. I don't count that, because that's our basic, that's our minimum. Above that, I wanted to find out what I was doing, and I'm only really working for God 20%. So I'm going to start working on increasing that. You can look on doing that too. And we meet in the clouds. God bless.